Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from the home of the future conference for the American Atheists, which is Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
Coming up on today's episode, we've got a lot of correspondence this week.
Oh, yeah.
But it was also, as I'm sure a lot of you know from some of our online activities, that it was Mormon General Conference.
Yeah, we
Last
kind of
week.
we kind of went and said hi to some of the Mormons and stuff. So we'll be reporting back.
Yeah, and in addition to that, there's a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff that they said during this conference and issues that,
Oh,
they
Mormons.
They don't seem to get.
No,
They don't seem to understand.
I think they understand very well their position.
You think?
The Mormons? I think they're pretty solid on it.
On their position? Damn it. Okay.
But we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
We don't need to harp on the Moes too much right off the bat.
No.
I would prefer to harp on something else.
Yeah, what are you going to harp on?
I am going to harp on the well, I'm not, this isn't harping so much as I found it interesting. Jason, who, when he writes to us now, just refers to himself as Jason, not from Panama, which is kind of cute.
Oh, because
we have another Jason who writes
is
to us
in-
sometimes,
who's from
from
Panama.
Panama. By the way,
but
have we thanked Jason
No,
from
we
Panama?
haven't. We haven't, which
Okay.
is
So
terrible.
Jason from Panama sent us some cacao.
yes,
and
delightful.
It was great.
Yeah.
We put it in our we made it up as per your recipe and everything. So thanks a lot,
Yeah,
Jason from Panama,
yeah.
and thanks Jason from not Panama for writing to us about this next thing, which
Okay.
was an open letter that went out
Oh.
to our community,
Oh.
essentially
Oh.
from
This
our
could be
community,
bad, actually. Oh.
from us. It's to us
Could
from
still
us.
be bad.
Well, not
Could-
not you and me specifically.
Yeah.
We were not even asked if we wanted to sign
We
on.
we
to
wrote
this.
ourselves an open letter.
We did.
calling ourselves
Dear
out.
Dan and Frank.
Signed Dan and Frank.
No, this is a letter from several. It says it's an open letter calling for civility in our online communities.
Oh.
It's been signed by none other than one David Silverman, president of American Atheists.
He's calling for civility? I don't want to be uncivil here whilst David Silverman is calling for civility.
He may have
But-
a slightly different sense of what civility looks like than we do. Like, for instance, in our world, civility doesn't look like when people call your place and harass you, you publish their phone numbers onto
Right.
Facebook.
Right.
But that's just that's a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
When we tried to nail him down on that in our interview, he seemed
Yeah,
to
he
think
did.
that was fine.
Yeah, no, he did think that was fine.
He was
Did it, and he was unapologetic about it.
very proud of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, the president of American Humanists and executive director of American Humanists.
Okay.
And president of Atheist Alliance,
Oh, yeah.
president of the CEO of Black Atheists of America. They all got together.
Wow.
There's a whole bunch of people that signed on to this thing. And it's all about, stop being dicks online.
This needed to be said.
Apparently so.
Seriously, they had to get together and agree
Yes.
on this.
We, the leaders
these
of the
meetings
undersigned,
like?
we, the leaders of the undersigned national secular organizations, pledge to make our best efforts toward improving the tone and substance of online discussions.
Oh, okay.
The secular movement as a whole is friendly, welcoming, and committed to the use of reason and evidence as means of resolving disagreements.
Yeah.
We refuse to allow the deplorable conduct of a few to debase the reasonable, appropriate, and respectful conduct of the overwhelming majority of our community.
Wow.
Among other things.
Wow.
It goes on. I mean, they have all of these, they have their approach laid out, which is to moderate blogs and forums, to go
Important.
They say
Yeah.
they say go offline before going online. Pick up the phone.
Oh.
Meaning, like, if you've got a problem with somebody personally,
Call him up.
figure it out with them. That doesn't need to
Okay.
involve us all.
Okay.
Listen more, dial down the drama. Each of these has a paragraph explaining what they mean by it, but I mean, I think, be more charitable I think
that's a good one.
Be nice.
Sure, yeah.
Trust but verify. I like that one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But I mean, to some extent, yeah, I think people don't trust, as with topics like what we deal with.
Right.
People don't trust that people are coming at it from an honest position. Even if you think that they're wrong, we can usually trust that people are at least being honest about their own opinions about things.
Sure.
And not being disingenuous.
Okay.
Anyway, and help others along. We should remember that we weren't born knowing the things we know now. To get to the reasoned conclusions that we've reached, we learned by reading, thinking, and talking with others. When we encounter someone espousing a view that we think is based on a lack of knowledge or experience, we should remember that we have all held ill-informed views. We should cultivate patience and try to educate instead of condemn.
Wow.
I think you and I have made a difference, Frank. I think
you think this is because of us?
I think it's because of us. I think they've heard our call, and I highly doubt they don't specifically acknowledge us in this letter, but I gotta think we got through to them.
I doubt that very, very, very much.
Well, but it's good. It's a step in the right direction. We got a lot of people out there who are always just grumpy and angry and writing mean things.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't need to do that.
No.
There's just no point.
No. You don't want to be that person on the internet.
Some people do.
Dumb.
Yeah, don't be that.
Dumb. It's pointless.
Anyway, so that's nice. That's nice that they're all going to make an attempt. It does call the whole thing into question when you see how people like Silverman comport themselves, and then he's going to sign on to the...
Yeah, he seems to his signature needs to have an addendum of some sort to it that explains that he personally understands the errors of his way.
He doesn't.
And that he is now going to be behaving differently.
He thinks he's one of them. He thinks he's one of the good ones.
Okay.
I think sometimes he's fine.
I think there's a lot of work. We've said this before. Both you and I have said this. That we think that there's a lot of good work that American Atheist does.
Oh, they do great work. A lot of the time.
And I just worry that their good work gets lost in this other combative message.
Yeah, it's just when Silverman goes on to these, talk shows, the Billo show and the whatever else Fox show, and starts just combating with these people instead of so that his message is, I mean, really, he thinks he's getting his message out.
Yeah, he does.
And he's not. What he's getting out is, this is a war of us against them. Every time he goes on one of those shows and he argues with those people and he meets them where they want him to meet them, he sends a message out, hey, Christians, I'm against you and you're against me and this is a war.
Right. Yep.
That's the real message that he gets out. And the substance of what he's saying has nothing to do with it.
No.
So,
nope, I agree. I agree, Dan.
It's an interesting lesson that he needs to learn.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Well, maybe he learned it. Maybe he learned it and he signed the thing.
Maybe.
Who knows?
That'd be great. And
we're going to have to see.
I got nothing personal against the guy.
But also, this is about online behavior. This has nothing about, I will go on to CNN and be a civil human being.
That's true.
I will put up billboards that do not insult broad sections of this of our
needlessly
this country.
Insult.
Needlessly
insult.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have another angry atheist of sorts.
Oh dear.
Oh yes. And what? Yeah. And what it's interesting what he's angry about.
Oh, okay.
It's So this is Peter Higgs of the Higgs boson.
Oh,
right.
The boson. Can I call him the boson man?
Sure, you can call him whatever you want.
Do you know the boson man?
I thought you were going to go, do you know the way to
Boson man? What? No.
I don't know.
Anyway.
All right.
Higgsy Pigsy.
Higgs, the man for whom the until recently elusive Higgs boson was named for.
The until recently theoretical
exactly
Higgs boson.
Yeah. He is upset that the particle that bears his name
Mm-hmm.
is known commonly as the God particle. Because he doesn't believe in God. He's an atheist. And he's upset about it. And that, or at least that's what he's saying. He's like, it shouldn't be called the God particle because there is no God. That's his whole thing, right?
His complaint isn't that it confuses people who don't understand, like, why it's being called that. His complaint is that there is no God, so why should it be named after...
Well, that's part of his complaint. So apparently the way that it became called the God particle, do you know this part of it? How it became, who first coined it?
I don't know who it was. Why don't you explain that?
Okay, so it was first coined in a book called The God Particle.
Right.
By Leon Letterman and Dick Teresi. It came out in the 90s. And so here's a little quote from Lederman. This boson is so central to the state of physics today, so crucial to our final understanding of the structure of matter, yet so elusive, that I have given it a nickname, the God particle. Why God particle? The publisher wouldn't let us call it the goddamn particle. Though that might be a more appropriate title, given its villainous nature and the expense it is causing. So he wanted to call it the goddamn particle, which obviously would not have caught on in the same way.
Right.
But obviously, and also wouldn't have caused this elderly, physics professor, Peter Higgs, who is 83 years old, by the way. And also sounds like he has no sense of humor. He says, a quote for him is, first of all, I'm an atheist. He's quoted saying to BBC Scotland. The second thing I know, is I know that name was a kind of joke and not a very good one. He points out. I think he shouldn't have done that, as it is so misleading.
Oh.
Because it misleads people.
To think that there's a God?
Well, it
Because
it leads them away from the name Higgs, I think is probably the main thing. Let me tell you, you get your name on the fundamental particle.
Yeah.
You want it to be called that.
Yeah, that's true.
If there was something that was called the Dan particle,
and there is,
and it was,
but nobody knows about
inside
it
all of us and inside everything,
and it was fundamental,
and people started calling it something else,
yeah,
you'd be pissed.
I'd be like, "Hey, that's my particle. Leave my particle alone.
Call it the Dan particle.
Call it what it is. My particle. You could call it the goddamn particle."
Hey, that's clever.
See what I did there?
Anyways, I just thought that was fun.
Yeah.
Don't call it do not get sucked into calling it the God particle.
Oh,
people.
Poor grumpy
Don't
old
do it.
Higgs.
You're making Peter Higgs very angry.
Poor grumpy old Higgs.
Yeah, he was already.
You kids stay off of my particle.
Yeah, we were debating the photo. Is he a grumpy old man or is he sort of the jolly neighbor man?
Oh no, that guy's grumpy.
You think he's grumpy?
I think that guy's grumpy.
Well, he's grumpy in that photo because he's upset about this name.
I think that guy will yell at you if you walk on his lawn.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think he has pockets full of Werther's originals.
I think he's grumpy and he has pockets full of Werther's. He's got that sort of grumpy,
keeping them to himself.
He's got that. No.
He just shows you. He's like, I've got these Werther's.
Yeah, I've got candy and you don't got none. No, I think he's the guy that has the candy, and he'll give it to you, but he'll be grumpy about it. Like, you could stay off my lawn. No, here's a candy.
Only one per person.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get greedy, kid. Get out of here.
I gave you one yesterday.
Don't make me make a boson out of you.
I don't even know what that means, Dan.
I don't either. You'll have to ask Mr. Higgs.
Anywho.
So, in Detroit, I'm going to Detroit.
Ooh.
The Motor City.
Yeah.
Motown.
So they say. Yeah.
Motown. So they have some Catholics in that part of Michigan.
They do?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't aware of that.
And apparently those Catholics are under the steady guiding hand of Archbishop of Detroit, Alan Vigneron. Vigneron.
You just made that up.
Yeah, it sounds like it, but no. I'm sure it's like,
Vigneron?
yeah, I'm sure.
Vigneron?
Yeah, it's like French or something.
Oh,
The G is probably silent.
Vigneron.
Vigneron. Anyway,
I love a good Vigneron.
Bishop. Oh yeah,
Lovely glass
that's
of
nice.
Vigneron.
It's nice with you get that with a nice fish.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's lovely.
Yeah, it'll bring out the flavors.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Archbishop Vigneron said he basically said that Catholics who are in favor of gay marriage shouldn't take communion.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow. Really?
Yep. If you're advocating gay marriage, it would logically bring shame for a double dealing that is not unlike perjury.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, more.
Catholics who promote same-sex marriage act contrary to Catholic law and should not approach for Holy Communion, he wrote. They also risk having Holy Communion withheld from them, being rebuked, and or being sanctioned.
So this is a sin.
Yeah.
This is a major sin.
You're being bullshit. And he's calling you on it.
Wow.
Catholics.
That's the kind of moral teaching that we need this in this day and age. More of that is what we need.
Yeah. We need people who are willing to finally stand up for the bigoted asshole beliefs that are fundamental to their religion.
Absolutely. Oh, God, it's about time.
These guys.
Vigneron.
Oh, Vigneron.
So wait a second. Wait. So this has been a problem in his diocese, apparently, or is he just making a statement? I don't
know that it's been a problem. I think he's making a statement. I think he's trying to put a statement out there to some higher profile Catholics, not even in his diocese necessarily. The name of Nancy Pelosi and Andrew Cuomo came up in the article.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because these are Democrats, but they're Catholics.
Yeah,
and they support gay marriage and everything. So
wow.
I think he's sending something out into the ether, like, you know what, you're being bad Catholics.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's clearly irrelevant. I mean, literally, what happens is that some up high Catholic person says something along the lines of like, "Don't take birth control," and everybody goes, "Oh, that's cute,"
right?
Because everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody's going to listen to the guy.
Everybody's supporting gay marriage.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah. So there you go. But he's taking the strong stand. You don't get to eat Jesus today because you support gays.
Can I have my Jesus to go?
I really still want to eat Jesus. Look, I can't help it that I support gay marriage, but I really still want to eat Jesus. So I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna tell him because I love to eat Jesus.
Yeah,
he is delicious.
I love gay marriage, and I love gay Jesus. Or I mean, I love eating Jesus.
I love food Jesus.
Food Jesus.
Gay marriage and food Jesus are the two things that I love the most. Because those wafers are they melt in your mouth. Mm-hmm. They're just in all the wrong ways. They melt in your mouth and turn into paste.
Ew.
Good thing you have that gross wine to wash it down.
Yeah, body of Christ.
Blood of Christ.
Body of Christ. Gross. It's gross. It is gross. It's a disgusting belief.
Well, it doesn't really happen.
No, but they believe it.
They do believe that it happens. They do believe that. How many Catholics do you think actually, honestly, if you pinned them down, believe that wafer turns into actual flesh of Jesus Christ?
I don't know. But
They can't really believe it, can they?
it's horrifying.
They can't really. I mean,
No,
they
you know
all
what?
say it.
I think
yes.
people believe it.
I think some of them do. I think grandmas do.
Yeah.
But I gotta think that, like,
I've got Jesus in me.
I've got. Oh,
But doesn't that
Jesus turned on me. Oh,
doesn't that
jeez.
also mean, that
What-
that Jesus is going to be making its way through your system?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Or does Jesus know when to get off the ship and absorb into your body?
Here's a question: Do you take communion if you're like traveling in some third world country? Do you take communion even though you know that? I mean, it might have been washed or the people might have washed their hands in water that could get you sick or whatever.
It's Jesus. Jesus won't make you sick.
What if you get Montezuma's revenge from eating Jesus?
If you're getting it from Jesus, you're probably getting it from someplace else too.
Just
Let's
saying.
face it.
Just saying, Jesus could give you the shits.
Jesus' revenge.
Jesus's revenge. Oh dear. Santa Maria. Jesus has gone straight through me. He keeps coming out. I can't stop him.
Boy, that was some bad host.
That was some bad host.
That was some bad host.
That was
Because
I got a bad bite of Jesus.
Because-
That is some bad Jesus. I've been burping all day.
just keep tasting host. I keep tasting Jesus. Jesus is repeating on me.
I think that host just got resurrected. Oh, he came back again.
A little resurrection in your throat.
Oh.
Oh boy. All right.
And we've solved all of the mysteries of life.
All right. So I have a fun little story from the CBC.
Oh, the Canadian Broadcasting
From
Corporation.
CBC News, yes.
I have so many delightful memories of listening to CBC.
Really?
Just when their accent comes out. And
Oh,
it's-
yeah.
And in further news today, we had a horrible mishap took place when the leaders of the Canadian Nazi Party came to. Literally, at one point, there was like neo-Nazis involved.
Mhm,
I just thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. Neo-Nazis.
Neo-Nazis.
Mm-hmm. And they drive Mazdas,
They,
too.
they do.
Mm-hmm.
They do.
Mm-hmm. Pasta?
They like pasta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was a pasta dinner at the neo-Nazi
Mm-hmm.
convention.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, go on.
Okay. So there was some researchers at the University of Winnipeg have found
sure.
that students who text more than 100 times a day tend to be more interested in wealth and image than leading an ethical life.
I would also like to see a concurrent study on use of the word swag or
Yeah. So they had 2,300 first-year psychology students participate in a 1-hour online survey in which they were asked about their personality traits and life goals, as well as how frequently they texted. And it found that about 30% of students reported texting 200 or more times a day. 30%. Right?
Wow.
Of college, of first year psychology
See,
students.
you say that like it's surprising. It doesn't surprise me.
12% said they text more than 300 times a day. 12%. That's 1 in 8.
300 times a day.
Anyway, that's just, those are just numbers.
Yeah.
The results of this, well, this is nothing terribly new. There was a book called The Shallows: What the Internet is Doing to Our Brains. And it says that the values and traits most closely associated with texting frequency are surprisingly consistent with this book. and show that new information and social media technologies may be displacing and discouraging reflective thought. We kind of knew that.
You think?
Um,
Well, I just did the math on this. 300 texts a day gets you to 3.2 texts for every waking minute. Assuming you take 8 hours to sleep, that's 3.2 texts a minute.
yeah.
They're not even looking up.
No.
They
We've
don't
seen these people.
They don't know that they're in a world.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me that they're disconnected from reality.
Yeah. But this is interesting. This is another interesting part of they carried out a laboratory study
Okay.
in which some students texted, some spoke on their cell phones, and some did neither of those two things.
Okay.
And all the students who participated were then rated on how they felt about different social groups.
Oh.
Okay. Those who had been texting rated minority groups more negatively than the others. They actually came out of it more racist because they were texting. Texting ruins you. We know it now. We have this
It's
scientific study.
Screw the don't text while driving. Just
don't text while being a human being.
Yeah. Don't text while humaning.
There's no problem with sending a text that says, "Hey, brunch."
Sure.
That's a great text.
Sure.
Movie? Question mark. That's a great text. But like,
I'm
what you
breaking
do-
up with you.
That's a bad text.
Oh.
Or any kind of text that's just like having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad text.
Honestly, when people try to have conversations with me through text,
Ugh.
I get through 3 and then they're going to get the call.
Yeah. Same
Because
yeah.
because why are we still texting?
Yeah.
If this isn't done by now, we need to have a conversation.
Yeah. Same with that goddamn Facebook Messenger thing.
I don't do it anymore.
I have this cousin.
I won't.
Who she's not even well, I guess in a way she's like a third cousin or something like that.
Okay.
But like she has been texting me on Facebook.
Just messaging you?
Messaging me.
Hey.
Yeah, and I'm like finally
How
I
are
was
ya?
like, "Oh, she thinks that I'm my dad." Because of like the messages that she's sending. And finally the one that cued me in was great chatting on the phone the other day. And I'm like, okay, here you go. You have me confused. And I finally responded. I'm like, you think that I'm my dad. And she's like, oh, hey, cousin. Blah, blah, blah. And then now she's like trying to chat with me. I'm like, go away. Go away.
I won't do it. I have that feature turned off.
Oh, yeah, that's probably smart.
Because I just can't. I
I
can't.
kind of hate it.
And you never know when the conversation's over.
Yeah.
There's never a moment where it's just like done.
No. No.
I hate it.
Texting is about getting business done. And if you're using it for anything else, you run the risk
You're racist.
of being more racist without you even probably knowing it.
I think it's safe to say, and I think I'm being fair here, that if you text more than 20 times a day, you're racist.
Yeah. Yeah.
On average. You know, if you have one day that goes over 20, that doesn't make you racist. But if you text more than 20 times a day, you're racist. I'm sticking to it.
All right. Well, there you go, Dan. Way to be.
Oh, Winnipeg. University of Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Winnipeg's the capital of Manitoba.
Sure. Isn't it also where the saddest music in the world festival
Oh, yeah, I think so.
in that movie?
Yeah, I think
It's not a real thing.
I think
It's a fake
Winnipeg's
thing.
actually probably one of the saddest cities. I don't know. Actually, you know what? I hear Winnipeg's got a really cool underground scene.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Oh, well.
I've never been to Winnipeg.
Sure. Me neither.
We should go
Just
to Winnipeg.
Seen it in a movie,
We
and I
should go
don't
to-
think the movie was an accurate representation of Winnipeg.
No, we should go to Winnipeg in a Winnebago.
Wow.
And it have all the Winneth stuff in it.
Mm-hmm. And have Winnie the Pooh
Mm-hmm.
and
Winifred. I don't know.
oh yeah, watch the Wonder Years
With Winnie.
with Winnie.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Sure. Why not?
These are probably all favorites of Winnipeggers,
Oh, yeah, they love it.
Winnipegonians.
Winnipegites. I think they just call themselves pegs.
Do they?
No,
That'd be great.
they should.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
They
Anyway,
probably don't.
whoever came up, by the way, with the phrase Michiganders, I think that's still the winner for what people call themselves based on their geography.
Mm.
Michiganders.
Mm.
I think that's funny.
Yeah, it's cute.
Anyway, Seventh-day Adventists.
Yeah, no.
What do you know about them?
I know that they're fuddy-duddies who worship on Saturday.
They do. That's their fancy big thing, is the worship on Saturday. Here's one thing that's funny about them. So they're celebrating a big anniversary. Their 150th anniversary they're celebrating.
Really?
They
I didn't know they'd been around that long.
are upset by it. It's a bittersweet moment in the
Why?
world of the Seventh-day Adventists.
Why are they upset they've been around 150 years?
Because
Is it
they
not long enough for them?
because the word Advent in Adventists comes from they thought that the second coming was right around the corner.
Oh, it's not like
100
Advent calendars?
No, Advent means the second coming,
Oh.
and they unfortunately for them, it hasn't come.
Oh.
They were originally they were
Really?
part of the Millerite Adventists, who Miller was a guy back in the mid 1800s who believed that the second coming, he like nailed it down. He was a Harold Camping of that time.
Oh, wow.
Nailed it down to a date. And everybody went up on a hill and they all waited for Jesus to come and he didn't.
Oh, no.
And so then they thought
That's disappointing.
So then everybody kind of went
Jesus
home.
is
and-
rude that way.
Jesus is kind of a fucker.
Yeah.
He'll let you climb up on the hill. He won't even tell you, no, you're wrong. He'll just
know,
let you climb up on the hill. And
I know I clicked yes to that RSVP. Which probably should have been a maybe. Oh, sorry.
somebody sent Jesus an evite to his own second coming.
I'll show up for that.
Oh,
Click.
you know, he's one of those that just clicks yes to
Yeah.
everything because he thinks it sounds nicer.
Yeah. No.
Jesus, we just need to know if you're coming or not.
Yeah.
Just be honest with us, because we have, we have enough beer for exactly how many people are coming.
And we've got a bag full of you that we're going to eat.
Just gonna hand you out.
Would you like some of you, Jesus?
Oh,
I love me.
it's Inception. If Jesus takes communion, what happens?
I don't know.
Eat this in remembrance. I eat this me. Please bless me as I eat me, that it will do me good. Anyway, so yeah, the Adventists have like their entire concept is around the idea that Jesus is coming now,
I had no idea.
and
I
now
thought
it's
they were
been
just
another. This
all
the
about
150th
Saturday.
anniversary is coming up, and they're all kind of like.
so it's just kind of a reminder of
It's just
how wrong they were.
the church's director of education, one Miss Lisa Beardsley Hardy, is quoted as saying, "It's almost an embarrassment to be celebrating 150 years."
Good for her.
But it's also an affirmation of faith in Jesus, in Christ's return.
Oh, okay. Not rooting for her anymore.
The church's director of archives and research is named David Trim. He said, "If you took a time machine and visited our founders in May 1863, they'd be disconcerted, to say the least, that we're still here."
Oh, this is very sad. And what's sad about it for me is that they're still doing it.
Yeah.
There's still people who are Seventh-day Adventists who are admitting to the fact that they haven't evolved past it somehow. Like
No.
like that's the genius of the modern Mormon Church is how much they've evolved past what they were.
Right, because they had similarly like immediate things that were
yeah.
supposed to happen. Things that didn't work out, things that didn't happen, and they just
Meh.
they found a way. No, Jesus told us it's going to work different.
Yeah. And then they just ignore all that old crap.
Right.
But these people like own it. It's still like apparently a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's just making them depressed.
In one way, says Michael Ryan, who's a vice president of the church's general conference. This is the top governing body.
Okay.
In one way, it really is a sad event. We're a church that by its name believes in the second coming of Christ, and we have been hopeful that long ago Christ would have come and taken the righteous to heaven, and this world would have ended.
Wow.
This is a testament to human stubbornness.
Yeah.
That's what the whole church is, just a testament to stubbornness.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Sad
that is
stubbornness.
sad. Oh, poor guys.
Oh. I just, every day that they go to church, it's every Saturday they sit in an edifice dedicated to reminding them of how big a failure their religion is.
That's probably why they're not very nice. Nobody wants to spend any money on the Seventh-day Adventist church.
Right, they're so mad.
Yeah.
The whole time they're just like, it's got to happen any minute now, right? Every day is just another day that's gone by without everything that's supposed to happen happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's too bad.
That is a shame. That is a delightful little shame.
All right. Well, I'd like to take us to the Vatican momentarily.
Yes, please.
Where it has been recently reported, in this day and age that we live in, with the internet, there's this little thing in all of our devices called an IP address.
Sure.
And we know where they are.
An IP address.
Typically. We can typically, if you've got somebody's IP address,
within a range,
you know where they are, right?
Yeah.
I
know where you are.
So they know where some downloaded porn has been going. Is the gist of this story.
Boy porn or girl porn, or does it say?
Tranny porn.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yes, please. Hang on.
You weren't seeing that one coming, were you?
I was hoping. There was hope. There was hope in my heart. Dear Heavenly Father, I'd like to thank you for the gift that you've just given all of us. Oh, my God.
Yeah. So quoted. Here's Tiffany Starr, a pre-op transsexual.
Okay.
Quoted as saying, "It doesn't change my stand against piracy, but I was pretty excited."
Pretty. Wow. Yeah. She's
yeah.
famous now.
Yeah. There's also Sheena Shaw. Who let's see, who was in one of the scenes of an adult film that was downloaded to the Vatican City. Let's see, Sheena Shaw. Where was Shaw? Oh, maybe I'm not ready for Shaw yet. Starr also told the Huffington Post, some religious people look down on adult films. I think this sends a message not to be ashamed. I think that's
I don't think it sends that message.
Misunderstanding.
I don't think
of the shame that man or woman, most likely man, let's face it,
yes,
is feeling in the Vatican City. He's getting off on his shame.
Oh yeah,
he's totally getting off on his shame.
He might be flagellating after
there's something. Yeah. Yep. But anyways, porn actress Leah Lexus.
Oh yeah,
these names they sound made up. Well, these names sound made up, Dan.
It doesn't sound like that's the name that a parent would give their child, does it?
Unless they wanted them to be a porn actress. So Leah Lexus was also surprised to discover her scene was downloaded in Vatican City, mainly because it was for a website called whippedass.com.
Yes.
And featured her flogging, paddling, and spanking co-star Chrissy Lynn before engaging in hardcore sex.
This is all exactly what I would imagine to be going into the Vatican. What I have a hard time understanding is why the Vatican doesn't have a VPN.
Yeah,
doesn't have like something that masks what their IP address is.
I don't know, but Lexus, she's concerned about the hypocrites, right? And it's not just about the downloads. That are teeming with sexual content. Her point is they're also stolen.
Yes.
So she's concerned about the fact that, this is piracy. And these are hypocrites not just about sex, but about thievery.
If anyone can afford to pay for their porn, it's the Vatican.
Where do you think who do you think steals porn? It's not people who are like, "Oh yeah, I watch porn."
No, it's not people who admit to it.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It's people who are trying to get away with it, who are trying to, like, you know, watch their porn and have nobody know about it. But what they don't understand are these little things, or these little ways on the internet that people have of, like, knowing where stuff is going. So anyways.
All right. I mean, you know, the truth is that who knows? Frankly, if I found an open Wi-Fi at the Vatican, that would be the first thing I would download. Is awful porn. I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Well, and I mean, there is that's a good point. It is possible that they have open Wi-Fi.
I doubt that they do.
Possible, I guess.
I doubt it.
But I think mainly, I mean, it is important to remember that, you know, we don't know who.
No.
There are 800 people who call the Vatican home.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
they're all supposed to be on their best behavior.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, well, there you go. Life in the world. It's nutty.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Well, if you've got anything nutty that you would like to let us clue us into, you can reach us easily. We're easily reached.
At facebook.com/TGIAtheist. That's a great way to get in touch with us.
Yeah, we got more and more people. And
tons of people.
All kinds of fun things going on. You can also email us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can leave us a voicemail at 424-666-8442.
Yes, indeed. That's always fun.
So we're going to take a quick break. And, you know, we're just going to go right back to Pat Robertson.
He's
kind of the gift that keeps on giving.
It's one of those things where, like, concerned. You know, as a quarterback, if you've got a receiver that always catches the ball, that's who you throw to.
Ooh, a sports metaphor, Dan.
Oh, I know. Doesn't it make me sound butch?
Yeah. Wow. I don't even know what you just said.
Oh, well, it's code.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I feel left out.
Let's throw over to Patty.
This is Ken, who says, why do amazing miracles like people being raised from the dead, blind eyes opened, lame people walking, happen with great frequency in places like Africa and not here in the United States? What can we do to encourage those things to happen here? Is America too far gone for miracles like this?
Those people overseas didn't go to Ivy League schools.
Not quite that simple. But
well, we're so sophisticated. We think we've got everything figured out. We know about evolution. We know about Darwin. We know about all these things that says God isn't real. We know about all this stuff. And if we've been in many schools, the more advanced schools, we have been inundated with skepticism and secularism. And overseas, they're simple, humble. You tell them God loves them, and they say, okay, he loves me. And you say, God will do miracles, and they say, okay, we believe him. And that's what God's looking for. That's why they have miracles.
Yeah.
All right, there's problems here.
What?
There are problems.
How could there possibly be
problems? I don't even know where to
that?
start.
You could start with the fact that people overseas are stupid little bumpkins.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You tell them God exists, they say, great, God exists. You tell them he'll do miracles, they say, yeah, we believe you. You tell them you're going to pull a rabbit out of your butthole, and they're fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do love that. Also, an interesting point is, apparently, miracles are happening in Africa all the time.
Yeah, this is
People
news.
are rising from the dead and blind eyes being opened.
And he's able to work in, like... he comes out with this like anti-education message as well.
Right.
That, like, well, yeah, we'd be closer to God if not for these Ivy League schools.
Right.
You know, and all these people, because Americans apparently we all have Ivy League educations as well.
And it's ruining our country.
Us. Yeah.
It's ruining it. The whole country's ruined.
Because of college.
Well, didn't we just heard a clip also from Glenn Beck saying he wasn't going to send his kids to college anymore.
Yeah, because they're being lured into a system.
They're being indoctrinated.
Yeah.
Into a system.
Oh my God.
A system where you make more money.
And he's like, and I yeah, exactly. Oh. Poor Pat.
Well,
Pat lives in a weird little world, a little old privileged white man world.
We're going to be going to a lot of that world, maybe.
Yeah,
Well,
we
not-
kind of live
not-
in that world.
Yeah, that's true. We can't complain about our current situation. Where even though you and I don't make a lot of money, we're still totally fine.
Yeah.
Not nervous at all.
Oh no.
We just nothing happens in our lives that, I mean, we can lose our job and just be like, "Oh, I guess we'll find another job then."
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Hey, I would like to okay, so we got some business that I'm going to get through.
Oh, really?
First of all, we have a couple donors to thank.
Oh.
Carrie was generous enough to give us a one-time donation. She said, "I really enjoy the podcast. Thank you." She's from Columbus.
Well, thank you, Carrie.
Thank
from
you
Columbus.
very much. And Jack, who's from New York, sent us a very generous donation.
Thank you, Jack.
And
Very, very nice of you.
he also sent us an email that said, I'm just going to lift a few things out of it. He said, Dan and Frank, please check your PayPal account to verify the gift went through. It did. Thank you. Apparently, PayPal has made it very hard on him. So I
really?
apologize for that, Jack. And any donors who make it difficult, who find it difficult. Well, I've heard that from a few people.
Really?
They got, like, especially people who aren't in the country. Sometimes they got to get
God.
they got to get a credit card that works for them and whatever. But
Really? Okay.
if you can't, you can't. If you can, we greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
And Jack was really, really generous. But he said your podcast is warm and comforting, like an old friend,
Oh.
and sometimes enlightening, even transcending at times. I totally agree with the way you slice through religious bullshit and take us to kinder, gentler, better places with wit and grace.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's that is actually a lovely sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate that. And he gave us some good suggestions for our trip, for our road
great.
trip. So
Awesome.
we'll keep that to ourselves, but we'll definitely take it under advisement. It's good
All right.
stuff.
Cool. Awesome.
David wrote to us, and he because we've been talking about being outed or coming out as an
Right.
atheist
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
He had a few things he wanted to add to the conversation. He said,
okay.
"I've finally been outed. I've been publishing a blog for some time, which is beyondreligion.net. Okay, the words beyondreligion.net written out .wordpress.com.
Oh.
He's made it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
he says, as with my personal writings, I link each article to Facebook and Twitter. My parents are not tech savvy and do not have a good idea about what those services are. I suppose it was only a matter of time before one of their friends caught wind of it. I woke Monday morning with a voicemail from my mother. The upshot is that she told me about she was told about my latest post and was very hurt that I would say such things in public. She wanted me to know how embarrassing my writings were for her and my father,
Yeah.
and how they harmed their reputation. She implored me to write such things under a false name so that it would not reflect on them.
Okay.
Since the drama is still unfolding, he can't tell us how it ends. He says it's not really the point he wanted to address. What he says is he was mad as hell and in no mood to deal with someone else's ego-driven shame. How dare she ask me to remain silent and pretend to be what I am not, so that her insufferably self-righteous friends can laud her with praise for bringing up her children in the Lord. I get it.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Because, I mean, it's tough because you want to be out and open.
Yeah, and you have the right to be.
And it's tough because I feel like she doesn't have any right to ask that.
No.
But unfortunately, she did ask it. And now it's like, what do you do?
Right. Yeah, and it's one of those things where, and he was very offended by all of this. I'm not reading the whole thing,
Right.
and I get that.
No,
I
yeah.
totally get that. It is offensive for someone to ask you to be other than you are.
Yeah.
Even your parents.
Yeah.
But but there's also, the parent side of things. To me, to my mind, the parent side of things is also, it just, again, this is a thing that takes time and it takes understanding on both parts.
Right.
And it takes, the sense that, I'm not going to tell you how to run your life, but to my mind, the worst thing you can do is yell at each other at this
Yeah,
point.
sure.
The best, everybody's hurt.
Uh-huh.
Everyone's offended.
Right.
Everyone and everyone feels righteous in this moment.
Right.
Everyone feels
Yeah.
like they're on the right side of this.
Right.
And even if you are on the right side of this,
Right.
it's just so rough because you got to understand that a parent thinks that when they say that they're worried about how it reflects on them,
Right.
but what they're really worried about is that you're challenging their sense of who they are.
And their sense of who you are.
Right.
And their hopes for who you are going to be.
Right.
But so here's the deal. Like, I think that because one of the things that I was thinking about listening to this is like, well, how do you balance this idea of being asked to maybe not put yourself out there, right? In that way.
Right.
And I think that there might be a temptation to, and I think there was a temptation and a concern on my part when I first started to be a little bit more vocal, because my parents were really uncomfortable with me being gay and with my atheism and all of that. And they were uncomfortable with their friends knowing and all that. I mean, this actually really resonates with me.
Yeah, I thought it would.
And the thing that I think now is you can't, if part of you being an atheist or you just being you is being vocal and being out there and talking and getting attention for it, and who knows where that's going to go and how much attention you're really going to get. But that's part of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And part of them coming to terms with anything about you is going to have to involve that.
Yep.
And I don't think that it needs to be handled in some sort of dickish way of like, well, screw you, mom and dad.
Right.
It needs to be, well, I'm sorry.
Although I understand that impulse too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. It just needs to be, well, I'm sorry that this makes you feel that way. I'm sorry that this makes you really uncomfortable.
Right.
But I can't change who I am in order to make you more comfortable.
And even I won't change who I am.
And I won't.
For your comfort.
Yeah.
But I want you, but there's, and it depends on what you're looking for from your relationship with your parents.
True.
I mean, that's up to you, what you want out of your relationship with your parents.
But this sounds like a really one-sided, version of, like, if you're going to, like, the only way to placate some people and some parents into being the loving parents,
right,
is to play to their game,
right?
Play to their version of who you're supposed to be.
Yeah,
and that doesn't work. That's controlling.
Yeah.
It's not right.
Well, and if you're going to have a mature relationship with your parents, with your child, if you're going to have a real, honest relationship, it's what Paige talked about when he was on the show. It's about being you,
right,
to them.
Yeah. We were talking about something
It's
before
tricky.
the show, Dan, which sort of your sense that Mormons sort of lack any real sense of adulthood, or that they lack, that they're not really adults.
That there's a prolonged adolescence / childhood to Mormonism.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's broader than that. I think it's deeply religious people who put on blinders as to the world and the way the world really is.
Right.
And who refuse to watch, and we were talking about this list of things, refuse to watch rated R movies, refuse to drink alcohol, refuse to, engage in any sort of adult activity. Right.
And refuse to associate themselves with it as well. So it means that they don't go to a party where they know alcohol is going to be there. This is Mormonism specifically, but
right.
they will.
But I'm sure it's broader than Mormonism. I'm sure there's more.
I'm sure it is, but Mormonism is particularly good at it because it's so. Because Mormons, at least, and we should. I'm going to talk specifically about Utah Mormons.
Sure, that's your.
Because there's a difference.
Yeah, that is true.
But Utah Mormons insulate themselves. They have the luxury of insulating themselves so tightly against any of these things. They don't ever have to go into a place that has alcohol. They don't ever have to go into they don't ever go to parties where there's alcohol because all of their friends are Mormon. All of the people that they talk to and associate with are Mormon.
Right.
They don't look at the world
Yeah.
They won't participate on a large scale with with reality.
And we could make this a little bit, I mean, if you want to talk about Mormons and alcohol specifically, this is a little known fact that we're going to fill in. I mean, I doubt very many people know about the Utah liquor laws except for the fact that they're ridiculous, right? Because
they're nutty.
the Mormons control the legislature and they pass these ridiculous laws. Well, the great new one that's been it's been around a year or two is this the fact that newly constructed restaurants that have a liquor license have to have a separate room that is outside the view of any of the customers where the alcoholic drinks are actually prepared.
Correct.
You cannot prepare drinks in front of people because the Mormons don't want to see it.
No.
They don't want to see them being made.
And they're worried that
And they would prefer to not even see them being drunk, but, well, they're going to have to live with that.
Right.
Because that's already been established that this is not a dry state.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of nutty. David went on to say that he has his message to religious parents, which is, he says, you do not own your children. They are under no contract to stay true to your faith. Use of emotional coercion is wrong, and you risk alienating your children. That would be too bad and entirely your fault. His message to the children is, grow up and stop cowering at the feet of your manipulative parents.
Yeah.
Did you rob a bank or abuse children? No? Then stop acting like you did. Let us be the last generation of adults who are afraid to be themselves around their parents, the one set of people who should accept us no matter what.
Yeah. It's a good rally cry.
I understand that, but I still have to say, if we're adults,
Yeah.
if we are really going to be the adults in this situation, then we need to understand, yeah, maybe they are emotionally immature.
Uh-huh.
So we need to come to them at their level and say, I understand, we need to accept, yes, these people are emotionally immature. Their growth has been stunted. So let us grow past them.
Yeah.
And get to the heart of if you want a relationship with them, I can't agree with David that it's entirely your fault, a parent's fault, if the relationship is lost because of this. Because we have
A relationship, it takes two people.
Yeah, we have a responsibility here too.
Yeah.
And while I understand that it may not be fair, it's not fair.
Right. What is fair? Really?
Who the hell cares about fair?
Yeah.
Do you want the universe to be fair, or do you want a relationship with your folks? You get to choose. If you insist on fairness, then
it's kind of a little bit of a false choice.
Of course it is. Anyway, but we really appreciate the email, David. That was
thank you,
great.
David.
David's from Birmingham, Alabama. Are we going
We're
through?
going through Birmingham.
Are we? I know that we're going. Yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to.
I don't know how much time we're going to be in Birmingham itself.
Yeah, I don't either.
But
we'll schedule
will
some sort of.
there.
There will be some sort of Alabama meetup. Hopefully, David can be one of the guys.
My guess
that
is it
shows
will
up.
be Birmingham because we are going to be driving through it. It's the main big city that we're going to be driving through.
I thought Montgomery was our big city that we're driving through.
Oh shit, you're right. You're right.
I don't even know
Montgomery.
where
I'm
Birmingham
sorry.
is.
I'm sorry. Sorry, scratch all that, folks. It's Montgomery.
Well, anyway, hopefully we'll see you, David. Anyway, I'm going to move on. Elizabeth texted us or sent us an email that said, a coworker of mine has a button on her jacket that says, "Glory to God." I need one that says, "Thank God I'm atheist." So, if you make and sell them, you have another way to for listeners to support the podcast.
Ooh.
I'd certainly buy a few. How about it then? And then she says, she's from Iowa, Elizabeth is, and she says, P.S. Could you put together a chunk of sound bites from every time Frank has said, "Shut up"? That would be spectacular.
Oh, that's fun.
Merchandise is on the way.
It is. We're working on it. We're working on it.
We have a lot of plans in the works, and some of it goes faster than others. But
we're slowly getting there.
we are getting there.
It's not like it's slow going. We both have other things we do in our lives.
Yeah.
So this is a little side project, and we're getting to all these kind of fun other things.
But we'll get shirts going.
Shirts
you can buy
probably
some
next,
shirts,
or the first thing up, right?
and then hopefully I think buttons are a great idea.
Mugs.
Mugs.
I priced mugs.
Yeah.
Mugs.
I think we can do mugs.
Totally affordable for us if we wanted to do mugs.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yep.
Okay, so next this is from the blog. From Thomas, who says, he says our podcast makes him look forward to his 30-minute commute to and from work. That's very nice.
That's nice. Thanks, Thomas.
And we provide a broad range of subjects and insightful outlook on different current events. He's a preacher's kid, or he is a sometime preacher's kid. He says, wait, maybe I'm getting him confused with somebody else. No, he grew up in a household that didn't talk about God much. He had one
So
weird.
not a preacher's kid.
Right, I was confusing him with somebody else.
Oh.
So sorry about that, Thomas. We'll move, but I'm moving on. Here's what he did have to say. Here's what his wife to be is a fellow non-believer.
Okay.
But his presence in her life and the parenting of her 7-year-old daughter has led him into a pickle of a situation. He says, her family, the hardcore LDS family, having an intense relationship with the church and all the local SUV dealerships. Her parents acknowledge me but walk on eggshells, and the rest of her family many times won't dignify me with a response when I politely say hi and ask how their day is going.
Oh, no.
B, the girl's biological father's family, who are staunch Catholics, except for the deadbeats, like the little one's father. The mother who is a Seventh-day Adventist.
And we know about them.
Yeah. So he wants to save this girl from a most assuredly confusing and forced upon idea of a higher power. But he says, I want to respect the families as much as possible.
Well,
he says, even the ex-husband's family, they are important to the Munchkin, so they are important to me too. And that's
okay, cool.
Too true. Right now, he says, I'm choosing subtlety as my course of action. When helping her cope with a confusing life and teaching her life lessons, I always tell her that you are the master of your own destiny, in an attempt to have her understand that nobody's going to help her in anything more than she is going to help herself.
Okay.
It's, and then he says something about he can't wait until they have the wedding, and then at least in their house he can kick the religious talk to the curb.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one.
Well, I think with kids, and when sort of caught in this situation where there's a lot of adults who have differing views and whatnot, I think you just have to be open about your views. And I think that, yours are equally as valid as anybody else's.
Right.
On sort of that, I mean, we know they're probably better informed than everybody else's, but just sort of in that marketplace of ideas, they're sort of, they're as equal as anybody else's. And I would just plan lots of fun enrichment activities. Lots of museums, science museums.
Sure.
And just really try to challenge her view of the world and universe and her thinking.
Right.
I think through art and culture, and just go that route. Let her fall in love with things that typically don't jive well with with religious thinking.
And I think you can say things like, well, that's what they believe, that's not what I believe.
Exactly. That's fair.
That kind of thing is fair. The trap that I would desperately avoid is, well, that's Grandpa's stupid belief.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Grandpa's wrong about that.
Yeah.
God doesn't really exist. Any of that stuff, that's not going to be helpful. But what you do, and here's what I've come to, and this is really good advice because I'm not a parent, so I don't know anything about it. So
right.
Really take my words with, Anyway, take with whatever grains of salt you need to. But when my wife and I were talking about whether or not we were going to have kids, when we were first dating, she was still religious.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about, well, what would we do if we had kids?
Yeah.
And what we finally came to was we would rather teach our kids how to think than what to think.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I don't think you have to indoctrinate this kid into your way of thinking at all. I think you just need to teach this kid that there are many different viewpoints, and teach the kid good critical thinking skills.
Right.
Don't connect the two.
Right.
Don't tell her that, don't make it about, I'm going to make sure that she knows how to see through all the bullshit.
Right.
Just make it about seeing through any bullshit.
Right.
Make it about teaching her how to think well.
Right.
And that's all you have to do.
Right.
And then let her take whatever path she's going to take. It doesn't. I mean, she's still going to be a good person if you teach her to be a good person. These are the most important things.
Yeah.
It's so much less important whether they believe in a god or not than it is if they're a good person.
Also, I would suggest bribing with candy.
Oh, absolutely.
It's very effective.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Pockets of Werther's Originals.
There's no God if you take this candy. Just remember, I'm happy to buy you that donut.
Tell me that there's no God.
Just remember that there's no God. And God, if there was a God, he probably wouldn't want you to have a donut.
Will you deny Jesus for this donut? Good girl.
Good girl. That's what we wanted to hear. Well done. Anyway, so that's basically it. We had some response to our little video that we put out.
Yay!
If you missed it, you can find it on our YouTube channel, which is YouTube.
Well, my guess is if you're listening to this, unless you're listening on Stitcher BT Dubs, which doesn't do video,
Right. See.
but there's the audio of the video on Stitcher, and if for those of you who saw it, you know there's not a lot of audio except for the music.
If you heard that on Stitcher, you're probably confused.
Guys, there wasn't much there for you. But it did say nicely right in the title that it's video. So, yeah. So you knew what you were getting into.
Yeah,
you're just listening to video. But anyways, yeah, I would say if you're listening to this, you probably saw the video, or at least had the video download into your iTunes.
But maybe not. Maybe
you didn't watch it. I don't know. But
all I'm saying is there are ways to see it. One of the ways is to go to Thank God I'm Atheist to Facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and we've posted it there.
Yes.
Or you can go to the YouTube channel, which is the TGI Atheist channel.
Right. On YouTube. Also, it's on our website. ThankGodI'mAtheist.com.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, I put it up there.
Okay.
So there's plenty of ways for you to find it and to watch it.
This one's just a goof.
Oh yeah.
There's another one coming that's much more not a goof.
True.
But this one's just a goof, and it's fun, and it was just me going to Mormon General Conference and not protesting.
No.
But I took a sign with me. And that's all we need to say.
Yeah.
We have fun.
There was at least one or two, 3 comments on YouTube, all from the same person, just inexplicable comments. I don't even know what to make of them. But I do love that there was some back and forth going on YouTube.
Yeah, sure.
So that was fun.
Anyway, so yeah, thanks for everybody for all of your input on the video and on my wardrobe choices.
All right, so that kind of leads us into what we wanted to talk about today, which is Mormon General Conference.
It's almost like I planned it.
It's our Mormon General Conference report.
Yes, indeed.
So, Dan, would you like to explain what General Conference is?
So every twice a year, the Mormons all gathered in downtown Salt Lake. Not all of them. They don't.
I thank God it's not all of them.
Yeah, because that would be millions. But many, many thousands of people converge on downtown Salt Lake.
Tens of thousands. The place holds 20,000.
Yeah, the building itself, and most of the people down there don't even have tickets to get into the building.
Which we found out there's this custom now.
It's become a thing
to like walk around with a sign or just hold your fingers up in like 2 or 3 or 4. And it means you're looking for tickets.
I want tickets. Can I have your tickets? We should go there dressed totally not appropriately for it and then just try and get tickets.
Or totally appropriate and get in.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But we need to make up a good story. Because what's funny is that most of the people that were trying to get tickets were just young people, probably from here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Young white couples or whatever trying to get tickets. But then every now and then you'd see a group of people there was one that was like family from Panama. We came all the way here. We'd like tickets, and it's like,
oh, poor family, poor kids. in
But
that
you
family.
know that's the one where somebody who could just see it on TV, who lives here, who has more opportunities, would just go, oh, okay, I'll give you. We'll give you our tickets.
So we came all the way from Germany.
From Germany, yeah. No, it's got to be a poor country. It's got to sound
you're
really
right, you're right,
poor.
you're right.
All the way from Poland or something like that, or from the danger being, of course, that with Mormons, somebody's going to
Somebody
speak
knows
our
the
language.
Yeah, that's the problem. You're right. So it'd have to be a place where they don't send missionaries.
We could just make up a country,
Yeah,
a fake country.
Slavonia.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. Something like Lithogistan or something.
Sure, yeah. It could be a stand.
It could be a stand. Nobody knows the
Oh.
stands.
No, that's true. It's a stand they've never heard of.
Right, exactly. We came all the way from Polkistan. From Kyrgyzstan. What was the one where wasn't it some politician combined Kyrgyzstan and some other stand and said a stand that didn't exist. It was pretty
Really?
funny.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're a little off track.
What? How do you figure? How do you figure that got us off track?
So one of the big things at this general conference that was getting a lot of attention was sort of the role of women in the LDS Church.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really highlighted this very well was the fact that this was the first general conference where a woman was allowed, and let's just put it for what it is,
Oh yeah.
was allowed to say a prayer.
Yes.
And now the Mormons would say that the first time that a woman was asked to say a prayer.
Yes, indeed.
But let's face it, there's been women in the sort of auxiliary hierarchy of the church that have been sitting there. They've been up on the podium.
They've spoken.
On the dais, or whatever you would call that big thing. What is it? The dais.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
They're up there. They speak at it, all this stuff. But nobody's ever bothered to ask one of them. And it would seem like if they were allowed, that it would have just been like, well, yeah, of course.
There's never been a prohibition on it explicitly.
Not explicitly.
But it's always just been clear that that's not. And this is why a lot of Mormons didn't even realize that it hadn't happened. They all assumed that it had.
Yeah. It's pretty remarkable.
But what's important about that? What's important about that fact is not that a woman prayed, but rather that this is the tiny little bone that the men in the Mormon Church are throwing to this upstart feminist movement that's sort of really gaining some traction right now in the church.
But do you think that they would want to embolden this movement?
No, I think
I think they're smarter than that.
Well, it's here's the thing. This is the one thing that the feminists have been asking for that there is no prohibition on currently.
Right.
So it was the one thing that was just easy to do.
Right.
So I think that they're in turmoil, these men, because no, they don't want to embolden them. They want to quell them. They want it to dissipate into nothing like they have done before.
I think that they're probably fine when it gets pointed out. I mean, there's, like you said, there's no prohibition against this whatsoever.
Against this.
Right. And, I mean, maybe behind closed doors, there had been some discussion of, well, should we ask Sister So-and-so, right?
Right.
But out in the open, they've never had some open policy about this, right? Oh,
Right.
This is not a realm where women should be praying,
Right.
And so, I don't know. I think that they are probably, in many ways, trying to give as much as they can to these feminists, and not even to the feminists, but to the women at large in Mormonism, so that the cries of these feminists seem more and more fringe and irrelevant to them, right? That what are they really asking for?
Right.
Get it all down to that the only thing that really divides men and women is the one thing that in Mormonism they would want. Like, I mean, it's the priesthood.
It's the priesthood.
Right.
That's the main point where women are completely unequal to men.
Right.
But here's the thing. in the same in the very same conference where they first allow women to pray,
Yeah.
at least 2, and I think more of the talks went back and worked to really solidify the difference between men and women in the
Right.
church. They're different roles in the church.
Right.
They are different. And so we have some audio that we want to play from, what's her name? Sister something?
This is yeah, I've got it right here. She is Elaine S. Dalton.
And she's a leader in the Young Women's
Yes.
organization in the church.
Yes.
Of women and mothers, President Gordon B. Hinckley once said, "We must never lose sight of the strength of the women. It is mothers who most directly affect the lives of their children. It is mothers who nurture them and bring them up in the ways of the Lord. Their influence is paramount. They are the creators of life. They are the nurturers of children. They are the teachers of young women. They are our indispensable companions. They are our co-workers in building the kingdom of God. How great is their role. How marvelous their contribution." So how does a mother or
Wow.
I don't know if you guys caught this, but she didn't say anything just then.
No.
She's and
Marvelous. She didn't do the impersonation though. How marvelous their role.
what she did was, she did her version. She did the woman version of a conference talk voice.
Right.
But the deal is that she she's quoting the previous prophet of the church and basically just reaffirming your job is not to do anything priesthoody.
Yeah.
You have a different job, and it's very sacred and very important and totally different and non-authoritative.
Know your place.
Know your goddamn place. And of course, they had to make sure that this came from a woman's mouth.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially this go around.
This is not by accident, people.
Yep.
Go to 837.
Okay.
Just so that these people can understand exactly what her job is in helping the church. They're talking about the conference center in which this event is held. The
Right.
giant conference center, which was completed a few years ago.
Yeah, it's not terribly old of a building.
And she actually had the privilege of being part of the creation of the building.
Yes, and this is how she helped.
Several years ago, as this conference center was being built and nearing completion, I entered this sacred building on the balcony level in a hard hat and safety glasses, ready to vacuum the carpet that my husband was helping to install. Where the rostrum now stands, there was a front-end loader moving dirt, and the dust in this building was thick. When it settled, it did so on the new carpet. My part was to vacuum, and so I vacuumed and vacuumed and vacuumed. After 3 days, my little vacuum burned up. The afternoon before the
Oh, she just vacuumed and
Vacuumed and vacuumed.
That was, she has an important role.
She has
somebody, Dan,
her role in the church.
Somebody has to vacuum. Thank God there was a woman.
Thank
to
God
do the
they had a
vacuuming.
woman there.
Yeah,
because they had all the men they needed for installation of things, for building of things, and all of that
backloader. Somebody.
But jeez,
you
what are they going to do when it comes time to vacuum? Let a man do it?
Surely not.
Are we being disingenuous here?
I'm sure they would also let an immigrant.
You're terrible. Shame on you, Franklin. Oh my God. I mean, the whole point here is that this is the party line. The party line is, and it's, believe me, if you think that this is just their propaganda that's not getting out to the people, I got news for you. We got another video coming.
Yeah.
It's so you have something to look forward to. And we asked Mormons coming out of conference about gender roles in
Yeah.
the church.
Yeah.
They know this script by heart. They
Well,
don't know what it means.
They feel it in their heart too.
They feel a warm.
They feel it, Dan. They know it. I know.
It's one of those
Dan.
things where it's like, you
I
see.
know it too, Dan.
Do you?
I know it.
Do you want to bear your testimony?
Oh, I would like to bear my testimony, Dan. I know that women have their place in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they have so much to contribute in that place.
So
They
much.
have so much to offer, so much warmth and kindness and charity, and
You know what it is?
I am reminded of a story, Dan.
Stop it. Stop it. God, he's doing the Mormon thing. No. I heard a woman talking about this on another show, and she was the sort of apologist for the Mormons.
Oh yeah.
And she said that it's been made clear by the leaders of the church that just as it's a woman's privilege and her job to bear children.
Oh yeah.
This is the greatest calling a woman can have, is to bear children.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
But
I agree with that.
but just as she cannot do that without a man's help, a man cannot practice his priesthood authority and power without a woman.
That's not true.
It's just plain not
We
true.
know that that's not true.
It's just bullshit.
That is a lie.
And how bad do you feel if you're a woman in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who can't bear children?
Yeah.
How fucking bad do you feel at that point when the one thing that is the most important thing that a woman can do?
Yeah. Or you're a
Is-
single woman who never marries.
Right. Which is then you don't get to participate in the priesthood bit either.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't get to be the woman who supports and sustains her man. And let me tell you something, that's your job as a woman.
Oh, absolutely.
Support and sustain
Yep.
the valid person in the relationship.
Find a man and support him. Those are your two jobs as a woman in the Mormon church. Get married, support your husband.
and then
and have kids.
and make more people
Make more people.
who can support and sustain their men,
They're men.
or
Yeah.
who can be
or
men
be sustained by.
to be supported and sustained.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god,
That's true.
It's when you see this video, people, you'll see it, and it is the women who are speaking most strongly about it, who are most into this idea,
Oh, absolutely.
and are most offended by all of
Well,
these
the polling
women.
shows that. We talked about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Only 10% of the women would actually feel like they would want the priesthood, whereas almost half of the men would be fine with it.
Right, exactly.
And the line from the men, anyways, we'll let people watch the video
It'll be
when it comes out. It's going to be in the next day or two.
yeah, it'll be eye opening. I think you'll all like it.
Yep.
I don't even know what to say about it. Anyway, the upshot here is that the church is sexist, and that's that.
Yeah. And then the other side of it is that there are very old men, one in particular,
Oh, right.
Boyd K. Packer, or as I like to call him, Boyd KKK Packer.
I call him Boyd Fudge Packer.
That's nice too. He came out in support of intolerance.
He can't. He came out.
Isn't that-
He doesn't. Well, why don't you play the clip?
Okay.
We better just play.
Let's hear what he has to say.
Tolerance is a virtue, but like all virtues, when exaggerated, it transforms itself into vice. We need to be careful of the tolerance trap, so we do not swallow it up and get swallowed up in it. The permissiveness afforded by the weakening of laws of the land to tolerate and legalize acts of immorality does not reduce the serious spiritual consequence that is the result of the violation of God's law of chastity. All are born.
You know, I've accused Boyd K. Packer of being intolerant before. What I wasn't aware of is that he totally agrees with me on that point.
Yeah.
He's
fine with intolerance.
The idea that any virtue taken to extreme becomes a vice.
Wow.
What, like that vice of like over kindness. Quit being so kind, you asshole.
But
Or
that's what he would say.
yeah.
This is a man who knows that there's a limit to kindness.
Or that vice of, turning the other cheek.
You turn it only so far.
You only turn it so far.
Yeah.
Jesus didn't say turn. I mean, you only have two cheeks.
You don't have to turn around.
You don't have to keep turning it back and forth.
No, Dan. You don't have to. Yeah.
It's the Admiral Akbar view of tolerance. It's a trap.
Well, I was thinking of also another Star Wars reference.
Oh,
here.
wow, we are getting nerdy.
Yeah.
What is it?
Who does he sound like to you?
Yes.
His voice. I mean, this man. First of all, y'all should see this man. The little headshot. That if you look up who Boyd K. Packer is,
You'll see a very nice.
you'll see a nice headshot. That is not who's speaking.
No,
He's
well on his way to being the emperor.
Yeah.
And he is next in line. If the current prophet of the church dies, he's technically next in line.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna. I think that he's not long for this world.
No. Monson's still sort of up on his feet, and
Although I do have to
seems
say that
spry.
now that we know the conference center has been thoroughly vacuumed, he has a fully armed and operational battle station. Nerdiness. That's for you nerds. Okay.
Which I'm sure there are plenty in our listeners, amongst our listeners.
Anyway,
All right.
there you go. Look for the video. You'll learn more about. I don't know. Just look for the looks in their eyes.
Yeah.
Just maybe watch their eyes as they talk to me.
Oh boy.
And don't worry, I'm not in a cobalt blue jumpsuit.
No,
for
this
video.
time we're trying to blend in.
I looked presentable and everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, Facebook.com/TGI Atheist is a great way
To get in touch.
And to follow and to like us. Show us you like us.
Yeah.
Like us.
Or email us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can leave us a voicemail at 424-666-8442.
Don't forget to rate us on iTunes. We always appreciate that.
We
It's a
do
very handy
appreciate
thing. And also, you can donate from thankgodimatheist.com's website.
And if you go and watch the video, give us a thumbs up.
Hey, thumb it up.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt.
Go to YouTube. Thumb it up.
All right.
All right. Thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club for their music.
And enjoy your week.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.